What is up, everyone? This is Jeff Lightsy Jr. here with the Black Boss channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. Come on in, come on in, come on in, because we have a very serious topic to talk about today. We are here today to talk about former President Donald Trump, his new social media platform that it looks like he is putting out in the very, very near future called Truth Social. Let me know in the chat first. First, for those as you come in, please put your hashtag B1s in the chat, hashtag B1s, because we want you to know that this is a Black First platform. We put you first, so put your hashtag B1s. And don't forget, the All Black National Convention takes place October 29th through November 1st down in Orlando, Florida. That is literally 1 week away. 1 week away, a week from today exactly. So I hope to see you all there in Orlando at the Omni at the All Black National Convention. I see the B1s coming in. I see the B1s coming in. Now, I want to preference everything that before I state this. No, I am not a supporter or representative or anything for President Donald Trump. Can you stick with me though? Can you stick with me and understand that no, I am not a Donald Trump guy. I'm not a Trump guy. I'm not a MAGA guy. I'm none of those things. So let's put this out there. Like please let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat that you understand. Former President Donald Trump, I am not a MAGA guy. You won't see me rocking a red hat. You won't see me talking about vote for Trump. You won't see me do these kind of things. So I just want to preference everything before I say it, right? So put your thumbs up. B1, you were Black first. Exactly, David Royal. We're in Jason Diamond. We are Black first. We are B1. So that is what all of this, before I say anything, I want that to be very, very clear. But we are here to talk about something that is coming very soon and that honestly can be a benefit to the Black community. Yes, I said it there. I said it. Something Donald Trump could do could actually be a benefit specifically to the Black grassroots. Now, as we know, Donald Trump, after the incident that took place January 6th, we understand that most major social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those places banned Donald Trump from using their platforms. And we found out, if you didn't know, then you found out that the tech companies, the big tech companies, are so powerful at this point that they are able to censor the president of the United States. Let me know in the chat if you understand what I'm saying. They are able to censor the president of the United States, right, wrong, or indifferent. At the time, Donald Trump was still the sitting president of the United States. Joe Biden hadn't been sworn in. So the fact that you can censor the president of the United States isn't the best thing. Like, let's just censorship. I'm not a guy that's crazy about censorship because that is a very dangerous place. And that is why we're getting to this point, right? So let me read to you some from BBC. I chose BBC because one, they're not an American-based media, and two, because I feel like they do a pretty good job, a pretty good job of being non-biased. Now, we're going to read this one together and see if I'm wrong, because I haven't actually read this particular argument, but let's read it. It says, former U.S. President Donald Trump announces plan to launch a new social media network called Truth Social. He said the platform would stand up to the tyranny of big tech. Now, let me know in the chat, actually, before we move on, let me know in the chat if you believe that big tech has a tyranny, that big tech has too much power, that big tech is allowed to do things a lot, probably more than they should be allowed to. Let me know in the chat. I love seeing you guys' things, thoughts, and opinions. So, continuing on, it says, whoa, it's like I lost you for a second. There we go. It says, but Mr. Trump was banned from Twitter and suspended from Facebook after his supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol. Social media firms were under pressure throughout Mr. Trump's presidency to ban him, with his posts criticized as insulting, inflammatory, or peddling outright falsehoods. Last year, Twitter and Facebook began deleting some of the posts or labeling them as misleading, such one as when he said the jab is less lethal than the flu. They took the decision to ban or suspend Mr. Trump after the January riots, which followed a speech in which he made baseless claims of electoral fraud. Responding to the riots, Mr. Trump called the Capitol's patriots and showed no sign of accepting the results. So yeah, so it kind of goes on and talks about how Trump has been silenced. Now, let's take a deep breath here before we dive into this. Now, why, Jeff? Your question may be, Jeff, why do you believe that a social media created by Donald Trump could actually benefit black people, not just black people, but specifically black grassroots? Because let's think about this, guys. Donald Trump is not the only person who has been censored. Right? Donald Trump is not, let's repeat this. Donald Trump and his supporters, not just him and his supporters, are not the only people who have been censored. Well, Jeff, who else has been censored? I'm glad you asked. Some of the greatest minds currently in the black community have also been censored. You guys ever heard of Rizza Islam? Let me know in the chat if you heard of Rizza Islam. Rizza Islam is probably on his 6th or 7th Instagram page. Rizza Islam has been suspended from Twitter. Rizza Islam has been taken off Facebook. Rizza Islam has been forced to just destitute and go away. But because his voice is so powerful, because so many people love what he has to say, and because what he's saying actually makes a lot of sense, he continues to be asked and requested as far as places like the All Black National Convention. He was on the podcast The Ghetto Boys, Reloaded with Willie D and Scarface. He's been on a number of platforms, right? Including liberal ones like the BNC with Mark Lamont Hill, right? Why is it that Mark Lamont Hill, even a liberal, someone who's considered a Democrat, someone who works in liberal media, would want to bring Rizza Islam on to his platform more than once? Rizza's been on Mark's show on the BNC twice. Why is that? First, they try to discredit him, right? You try to get somebody like Rizza Islam on because you want to discredit him. You want to shoot down everything that he's saying because he's anti-jab. Now, I'm not pro or anti-jab, but I am pro listening. I'm pro everybody gets an opinion. I'm pro let's okay, you have your facts, but what are the other facts? What's this other thing that you're not talking about? And Rizza talks a lot about the other thing that a lot of people in the mainstream media don't like to talk about, right? That's what Rizza presents. And so when he went on Mark Lamont Hill's show the first time, Mark tried to dispel that, and Rizza killed him. Rizza was like, yo, boom, 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 boom. Hit him with these facts, hit him with this research, hit him with this stuff that was like, whoa. And so Mark, the second time, he was like, he would always say, well, I respectfully disagree. Well, Rizza's not just, he's not for something for you to respectfully disagree. He's just stating facts, right? And then the second time, Mark brought on in this this guy who worked in like, he's a doctor. He brought in a doctor, a medical professional, a guy that works in, I think in New Jersey or something. And he came in and Rizza, and he was giving some facts about what's taking place with the virus, what's taking place in his ICU, what's taking place and who are the people that are being hospitalized and X, Y, and Z and things. And then Rizza came with some more facts. So many facts and so special that the doctor actually gave Rizza a compliment. He said, yo, I am impressed by your knowledge of the body. He was like, I am impressed by your knowledge and what you know about science and what you know about the body, and that you know all of this, and that you know all of the stuff that is going on within the body, with the virus, with the jab. It's like, yo, I'm impressed. He said, they agreed to disagree, but he's like, he had to give kudos. Now, why am I bringing Rizza Islam? Well, I'm going to circle back to Donald Trump and the Truth Social platform. The reason why I bring up Rizza is because Rizza is one of the many people that are named on a ban list that aren't allowed to keep a social media because they go against the grain. Now, what is Donald Trump's, who is also on this ban list, what is his new platform going to provide? Well, we know it's going to be successful because Trump has a large following. A man doesn't get 75 million votes in a presidential election if he doesn't have supporters. So if every single one of Trump's supporters joins his social media platform, he will have 75 million. He'll have 75 million followers. He'll have 75 million users of his platform. Now, why am I talking about this? Because this new Truth Social platform will give a voice to people who aren't allowed to go on and talk to you the way that they should be, right? We understand that there will be white supremacists on this platform. I get it. That like we're not gonna pretend like that's not a thing. We're not gonna pretend like that's not gonna happen. I understand that. But there's also white supremacists on Twitter, There's also white supremacists on Instagram. There's also white supremacists on Snapchat and on Facebook. So much so that the Facebook whistleblower went on 60 Minutes and spoke about how those white supremacist style articles and those white supremacist style all of those things actually get promoted by Facebook because they get a lot of engagement. And because Facebook is all about algorithms and engagement, when you post something that's derogatory or you post something that is controversial, it's actually more likely to get picked up than to get shut down. Unless you talk about certain communities, right? Unless you talk about certain jabs. Unless you talk about certain communities, and unless you talk about certain jabs. Let me know if you're following what I'm saying. Let me know what you're following what I'm saying. If you say something wrong about the LGBT, you get shut down, and you get name called, transphobic, homophobic, all of these things. And if you say something about another community, it starts with a J, and you get what I'm saying. So, why is this beneficial? Because some of your leaders have either been censored or wiped away from social media completely, right? Who are some of my leaders? I mentioned Rizza Islam earlier. I have yet to mention Louis Farrakhan. Why is this important? Because Louis Farrakhan has been banned from social media platforms. Why has Louis Farrakhan been banned from social media platforms? They have banned Minister Farrakhan because they say he is anti-Semitic. And even if you bring up his name, there's a chance this video right here by me saying his name could potentially be removed. Why is that? Because he goes against the grain. He says things that a lot of people are thinking, but are too scared to say. If you ask, Minister Farrakhan gets labeled anti-Semitic. But if you ask someone, what has he said that is anti-Semitic? They can't tell you. People can't tell you why they don't like Farrakhan. So if you are telling me that this is someone who is a bad person, who is bad for my community, who is all these words that people have just freaking made up, right? These ick words, anti-Semitic, homophobic, transphobic, all these damn ick words. But you can't tell me an example of this person actually being what you're telling me he is. I can show you a million videos, hours upon hours upon hours of videos of sermons of Minister Louis Farrakhan preaching to people that look like you and me, that is inspiring, that'll make you want to run through a wall for this man, that'll make you feel like he needs to be put into the mountaintops. When we talk about the leaders, the greatest leaders of the history of black people, that you will list him at the very tippity top. I can show you videos better than I can tell you. Can show you actual sermons that he has preached and why he has such a devout following, such devout followers. So devout that these people will lay their life down on the line for him because he is that powerful and is that inspirational. But white people told me he's a bad guy, so I'm supposed to just believe that. Come on, let me know if you're following along. Please tell me you're following along. Let me know in the chat that you are following along what I'm saying. And so on a platform like the True social media platform, you will hear those voices. You will hear the voices of the black grassroots. You will hear people be authentically themselves, right or wrong. See, here's the thing. We get so many wolves in sheep's clothing in mainstream media and on mainstream social media because people are scared of being canceled. They're scared of being censored. They're scared of being banned. They're scared of being themselves. So they pretend to be something else to get what a lot of the black grassroots people call butter biscuits, right? They pretend to be a certain thing because they want to get butter biscuits. They pretend to be a certain way because they don't want to lose their job. They pretend to be a certain way because they don't want to lose their sponsorships. They pretend to be a certain way because they don't want white people to think they're a bad person. This week I heard Condoleezza Rice, who worked in the Bush administration, say we shouldn't be teaching certain black history because we don't want white children to feel bad about themselves. Are you serious? Are you serious? Please let me know if if you saw this. Condoleezza Rice went on one of those morning shows. I think it was The View. And she went on the morning show and said, basically, it went back to the critical race theory. She said that we shouldn't teach critical race theory because we shouldn't want black or white people to feel bad about what white people did in the history of this country. So that's what you get in the mainstream media, because those people get what are the so-called butter biscuits. They get the trinkets. They get the money. Because if you get a guy like Minister Louis Farrakhan saying, actually, Condoleezza, actually, white supremacy is still taking place right now. White supremacy ain't went nowhere. It's just shifted. It's shape shifted. It's molded. It used to be very blatant and obvious in forms of slavery and Jim Crow and segregation and things like that. But now it's just shifted. It's still here. Because if it wasn't still here, why are your communities still to shit? Why are your economics still to shit? Why are these black people still getting murdered? Why is the net worth of black people in the next 30 years will go to zero? Think about this. By the year 2050, that's in 30 years. That's in most of you all's lifetime. Most of you will be alive in 30 years. The net worth for your people, the people that have melanated skin like me and you, will be zero. Why is that? Because you get people like Condoleezza Rice going on mainstream media and trying to make the white people feel good about themselves. Trying to make the white people, we shouldn't allow the white kids to be sad about what their grandparents did, what their grandparents are probably still teaching them at home. Are you serious? Because as soon as you get on certain platforms talking like this, they limit you. They shadow ban you. They make sure people don't get to see your videos. They make sure people can't, they censor you. They remove your videos. They do all kinds of things. Don't believe me. It is the truth. I can show you better than I can tell you. This video that you're watching right now, that's why it's so important for you to hit the thumbs up button and share, will be shadow banned. It could potentially be removed because I've said a lot of those trigger words. Think about this. I have to censor myself and say certain words because if I don't, it won't reach our audience. That is a problem. If you don't see a problem with that, then you're part of the problem. Please let me know in the chat that you see the issue with that. The issue with censoring myself when we're talking about black issues. Because here's the thing. When we're talking about black people, when we're talking, because I brought all of this up about the Trump social media platform, but really it's all about you. Come on, that's all we do here is we talk about black folks and we talk about improving ourselves and we talk about ways to make money. That way you can improve yourself. That way you can improve your family. That way generations down the line, we won't be talking about this. We'll be talking about something else. But until this changes, we'll continue to beat this drum because it's all about you. And here's the thing. If people like Condoleezza Rice or whoever, pick your favorite liberal, favorite black liberal, right? If everything was as good as these people try to make it seem, why in the hell are we still at the bottom? Please explain that to me. I'll wait. I will wait. If everything was as good as they make it seem, why was it that our net worth 50 years ago was higher than it is now and is going in the wrong direction? Think about that. Everything in 2021 is supposed to be better for black people. So you imagine that if things are better now than they were pre-Jim Crow or pre-1960 civil rights movement, we're talking about 50, 60, 70 years ago. If things are supposed to be better now than they were back then, why in the hell are we going in the wrong direction? The net worth ain't zero right now. The net worth wasn't zero 50 years ago, but in the next 30 years, it's supposed to get to zero. Explain that to me. I'm waiting. So clearly something is wrong. We have to take a different approach. The definition of insanity. What is the definition of insanity? For those of you listening, what is the definition of insanity? I'll give you a chance to answer. And then I'll tell you. The definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over and over again and expect different results. To expect different results. Black people, we've been doing the same thing over and over and over again. And we continue to accept different results. That's a problem. That's a problem. So, the truth social media. Now, here's the thing about Donald Trump. Donald Trump's a piece of shit. I don't, like, you don't have to tell me, like, I promise you, I understand. I'm not a Trump supporter. I said that at the beginning. We're 20 minutes in. I'm going to say it again. I'm not a Donald Trump supporter. His social media platform is going to work. It's going to have millions of people on there because he's going to allow you to express yourself. At least that's what it's being marketed as. And if that's the truth, if this is going to be marketed as a place, and if it reigns true, now granted, we'll have to wait till it comes out. But if the truth is, it's going to allow you to be unapologetically yourself, that means you can go on there and be unapologetically black. And so being unapologetically black, I think will help push our community forward. Why is that? Because more voices will be heard, uncensored. No butter biscuits will be reign supreme, at least what it's being marketed as on this social media platform. So people will be able to go on there and say what they need to say and not have the fear of being censored, of being shadow banned, of being canceled, of being shut down, of being any of those things. And here's what's going to happen. Here's what's going to make it even better. And here's what's going to be the pushback, because they're going to fight this, right? They're going to fight this, and they're going to say they're fighting it because they're trying to shut down white people, right? The white supremacists and all that stuff. No, they're going to fight this because brothers like myself, like brothers up under the Minister Louis Farrakhan of the Nation of Islam, of the Black Grassroots, are going to go on there and they're going to preach the gospel and they're going to reach people that they haven't been able to reach, right? It's going to get so big, at least in my theory. This is my theory. This is my thoughts. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. The mainstream media is going to pick up on it. Why are they going to pick up on it, Jeff? Why in the hell would they care about what's being said on this platform? Because they're going to try to paint you as a villain. They're going to try to paint us as villains, right? This guy is on there being a black supremacist. This guy is on there actually gives a damn about the black community. This guy actually is on there saying things that would help black people economically prosper. This guy is actually on there changing the minds of black people, and it's actually doing something against the grain that's not helping their net worth go in reverse, but go in upward trajectory. You got to remember, Dr. Clyde Anderson teaches us that being a racist, white supremacy, that is a domination of power. That's a strength of power. It's a sign of power, being able to dominate another group of people. And so when you're in first place, think about it, even in sports, because I talk a lot of sports. When you're in first place, guess what? You do everything in your power to continue to stay in what? First place. So obviously, if people like Rizza Islam, obviously, if people like Minister Louis Farrakhan, if obviously people like myself or Tariq Nasheed or Dr. Boyce or Vicky Dillard or whoever go to this platform and they're uncensored and they can say what they want, when they want, how they want, and not have the fear of being shadow banned or canceled or shut down. That's a problem. That stands a problem for those in charge. That stands a problem for those in power. Because here's the thing about most black people, and right now more than ever, I will say right now more than ever, black people are starting to wake up. You're seeing that we've been insane for the last 60 years. You're seeing it. You're literally seeing it. Folks told us, let me know if I'm wrong. Folks told us, and I didn't believe it, but a lot of people did. 80 million Americans is what they're telling us. Folks told us that Donald Trump was the worst thing in the history of the world. We needed to get Joe Biden in. We shouldn't give a damn what his black agenda says. Listen to this. There was celebrities getting on mainstream platforms saying, I don't give a damn what Joe Biden's black agenda is. We need him above Trump because Trump is the worst thing in the history of black people. These are what your so-called celebrities were going on television and saying. We're 2 years into the Biden administration. Ain't shit been done for the black community. He hasn't answered the real black leaders' calls, right? Those who he told he'd get back after election, he said to hell with them. He said to hell with your civil rights leaders. He talked shit to them on a Zoom call that was recorded and been blasted all over social media. And we're still supposed to believe he's supposed to be our savior because they were ski-weeing to the polls. They were strolling to the polls. They were going to all these HBCUs, right? Oh, and they still cut the HBCU's funding too. Don't forget about that. That was a fight in Congress. Now they've gotten guys to come out and say, no, that's not real. These articles are fake, blah, blah, blah. But the real thing was that actual members of Congress, black members of Congress, were pissed because the funding for HBCUs were cut. That's a fact. That's not me just making it up. It's an actual fact. So that was a lie. They told us that they would get back with Ice Cube, the contract of Black America, after the election. That was a lie. They told us that they had a black agenda and that certain things would happen for black people. That was a lie. So when do the lies stop? Oh, they haven't stopped, because when something happened to the Asian community, they just signed a check. When something happened to the Afghans and they felt like they needed to help the Afghans, they did what? Just signed a check. But when it comes to black people, you get what someone would call, Tariq Nasheed referred to as a word salad. You just get a word salad, a bunch of good words and butter biscuits. It's a problem, guys. It's a problem. Hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe. So Donald Trump's, we started off talking about Donald Trump's social media, and I'm explaining to you the reasons why I believe it could be very, very beneficial to the black community, because leaders can go on there and speak unapologetically black and not have to worry about getting shadow banned, not have to worry about getting censored, not have to worry about getting canceled, not have to worry about any of those things. You can go on there and be yourself. And the mainstream media, they're going to pick it up, because they're going to try to smear you with it. But eyes are going to be open. People's eyes are opening now. Damn, Biden pulled a con man job, and he's trying to save face with bullshit like weak executive orders that have nothing to do with black people. They're trying to backpedal, and they're trying to, pull up to people's homecomings and do all this kind of stuff because the midterm elections are coming up and those numbers aren't good. And I swear to God, here's the thing. Here's what I do know. I have, like, when they talk, voter fraud and election fraud and all that stuff, I don't know about all that. If that happened, when Trump versus Biden the first time. But I swear to God, I do know this. If somehow, some way, in 2 years, the next election, 2024, Joe Biden gets 80 million votes, I'll believe something's up. Because there's no way in hell I can see him winning another election in 24. Let me know in the chat. Do you believe Joe Biden could get 80 million votes in 2024? I don't see it. Now, some folks will get you to believe, because they're doing voter suppression in Georgia and voter suppression in Texas and voter suppression in all these different states. That's why he won't get his votes. Bullshit. If you can't provide an ID to vote, you don't need to be voting anyway. If you can't just stand in line to vote, you don't need to be voting anyway. If you can't, show face when you go to vote, you don't need to be voting anyway. And what has voting got us? Hello? Someone explained to me, Dr. Claude Anderson explains in Black Labor, White Wealth, which was written over 20 years ago, by the way, that more black elected officials have done nothing for the black community. Remember, guys, if you don't know nothing else that I'm saying here, right? If you don't know anything that I'm saying right here, right now in 2021, Dr. Claude Anderson wrote Black Labor, White Wealth in the 90s. So we're talking over 20 years ago. He spoke about how more black elected officials has not resulted in any kind of things for black people. The net worth for black people continue to go downward. So much so downward, in the next 30 years, it'll be zero. Think about this. In the 60s, our net worth wasn't zero. But somehow, somewhere, we're getting more black faces in high political power, but our money is going in the wrong direction. Our land, our ownership of land is going in the wrong direction. How in the hell is that possible? Please explain that to me. Someone's got to answer that. Because I don't get it. You're telling me we've had a black president. We have a female black vice president. We've got black senators. We've got black congressmen. We've got black this, black that, black this, black that. And our economic value, our wealth is going to shit. It's going in the wrong direction. Our land value, our land ownership is going in the wrong direction. But we got more degrees. We got more politicians. How is this possible? Please. How do we have more college education than ever? More black politicians than ever? We're supposed to be the smartest we've ever been. We're supposed to have the most businesses we've ever had, but our wealth is going in the wrong direction. Our land ownership is going in the wrong direction. That to me tells me something we're doing is wrong. Hello? Something we're doing is fundamentally wrong. That's the only thing that it's telling me. So all I am hoping, and I'm just hoping, I don't know this, because here's the thing. The thing that Donald Trump is going to face, the problems that he's going to face is they're going to try to wipe this social media platform off the map before it even gets started. Because the thought of everyone having their own voice and not being canceled, not being silenced, scares a lot of people. It scares a whole lot of people in big tech in Silicon Valley. Think about this. You're going to get black leaders that are allowed to be unapologetically black on a platform that could potentially have millions and millions of people worldwide. Those in power don't want that. If they did, they allow black people to say what they want now. Think about this. Those in power don't want that to happen, because if that was the case, they wouldn't be trying to run off Minister Louis Farrakhan and pretend like he was the worst thing in the history of the world, when actually he's one of the top 5 greatest leaders this world has ever seen, especially for black people. Come on, guys. We got to wake up. We got to wake up, man. It's just coming. They're going to, like I said, they're going to try to wipe Truth. Let's call it Truth Social. They're going to try to wipe Truth Social off the face of the earth before it gets started. You try to kill a dream before it ever manifests. Truth Social, from what I understand, like the prototype or whatever, has already been hacked. I've already seen articles posted by CNN and other liberal spaces saying, here's the reasons why Truth Social won't succeed. And truth of the matter is, even if every person who voted for Trump in this last election, 75 million people, that sounds like a pretty successful app, if you ask me. If 75 million people sign up for your app, sounds pretty good. If your app shoots up over 300% in one day because you announced the partnering with former President Donald Trump, sounds like pretty good to me. But they're going to try to wipe it off. They're going to try to derange it. They're going to try to get rid of it before it jumps off. But if it's able, because it's got a lot of hurdles to pass. I mean, it's got a whole lot of hurdles to pass, because these people running behind big tech, behind Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, those people behind that's backing them got a lot of power and a lot of money. But if it's able to take off and you're able to see black people go on there and be unapologetically black and spread the good black gospel, this could potentially be game changing for the black grassroots. It could potentially be game changing for the black grassroots, because you people that are listening right now, you are part of the solution, not the problem. You are part of the generation that will prevent us, our network, from going to zero, and that will finally understand, there's nothing wrong with voting. I'm not a person who is against voting, but you need tangibles for your vote. You were told that in the last election. A lot of you still sold out for the butter biscuits. That's cool. I'm not here to judge. I'm not one to judge. But I think you're starting to realize it. Yo, we were fed a bunch of lies. And I've been fed lies for years, for decades, for centuries. It's time to move past the lies. It's time to start putting your community first. Be one is our mantra, and that's what we're here for. And I think we will be able to spread a Be One agenda on a new space. Unfortunately, it has to be by former President Donald Trump. But hey, if it's going to help lead our people to the promised land, I'm all for it. Leave your thoughts in the chat. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Once again, I'm Jeff Lightsy Jr. with the Black Boss Channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please hit the thumbs up button. And don't forget, the All Black National Convention is next week, October 29th through November 1st. Get your tickets at allblacknationalconvention.com. That is allblacknationalconvention.com. And follow the channel, theblackbosschannel.com. Go on there. And for those of you on Facebook, it's Jeff Lightsy Sports on Facebook. It's Jeff Lightsy Sports on Facebook. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you, and hit the thumbs up button on your way out. I'll see you next time. Peace.